So today on TOKKANTE, let's talk about Christmas. It's finally December, the holiday season has just started, we're in the middle of Hanukkah and Christmas is around the corner. So it's time to buy which watch is going to end up under my tree this year. So over the past year, I've started my channel in February and I've looked at many different watches and brands, but overall I've looked at 6 different brands that I considered seriously, and maybe 2 to 3 watches per brand, up to 4 in some cases, in total 16 different watches. So I want to go over them because I know some of you are in the same situation as I am. Some of my viewers have asked me questions about the same model I'm considering, and which one you should also consider and what can you get for the budget, etc. So I'll go over the pros and cons, and I'll give you a hint. By the end I'll eliminate half of the brands and I'll get it down to 6 watches. Hi everyone and welcome, I'm Ben. So let's jump right into this. Over the past year I've considered 6 different brands. So unsurprisingly 3 of them are German, one is German-Swiss, one is Swiss, and one is Japanese. So I'll go over them not in any order of preference or budget or priority or anything like that. So the first one is Sinn. I've made 2 videos about Sinn and you know how much I like Sinn, but it's been difficult for me to find the perfect Sinn. There are 2 models that I'm considering. One is the U50, which is a diver and which has very good sizing for an everyday wear, but maybe a little too toolish. And the other one is the 836, which is a pilot and has pretty much everything that I'm looking for in a watch, but it's quite big and I wonder if it's just a little too bland. The second brand is Tudor. Of course, I have to consider the Black Bay 58, even though I've never really made a video about the Black Bay 58, but I've mentioned it several times and everybody thinks that it's the perfect watch. The thing is with the Black Bay 58 is that I'm not sure there's a version that I really love. There are many to choose from. There's the OG in black, and then there's the blue one and the bronze one and the silver and the gold. I really like the gold, but I would never pay that much for a Tudor, then I would choose something else. I'm not sure about the silver, maybe a little bland also the colorways. The blue I kind of like. The bronze, I would like the bronze, maybe not on the bracelet. So I'm not quite sure, the Black Bay 58. I really like the Pelagros as well. I've tried it several times, but it's a bit thick, a bit chunky, a bit big. So I was waiting for the new Pelagros, and then the FXD came out. So the FXD, I haven't seen it yet. I'm not quite sure this is what I was looking for a daily driver. And then there's also the ceramic. I recently made a video about ceramic versus stainless steel. I'm really into ceramic lately, so the ceramic could also be an option for me. But then there are a lot of talks about maybe the next version of the ceramic coming out next year, possibly a ceramic GMT, so should I just wait for that one? The third brand I'm considering is Nomos. So Nomos, I've made 1 video about Nomos and I'm considering 2 models. First the Club Campus Neomatic 39 and then the Club Campus Neomatic 42 Sport. So the 39, very nice size, it's very thin, 8.4mm, and it wears very well. However, maybe it's a little too safe or a little too bland as well. And the Neomatic 42 Sport, on the other hand, that one is quite big with a very long lug to lug of 52.3 or something. And also comes with that bracelet that I was really liking at first, but then I saw the video from You're Terrific, go and check it out, where he shows that the bracelet doesn't actually quite fit the lugs very well, and so that's giving me pause and I would have to see it in person. But those are the 2 that I'm considering. The fourth brand that I'm considering is IWC. So I made 3 videos about IWC, about the 3 models that I was initially considering. The Spitfire, the Mark 18, and then the Big Pilot 43. So I quickly eliminated the Mark 18 and was left with the Spitfire or the Big Pilot 43. But then eventually I came to consider also the Top Gun Automatic and Ceramic. Because again, ceramic. So I've been considering those 3. The Spitfire, which I really like, 39, perfect sizing, but didn't come on a bracelet. Then the Big Pilot 43, which is very nice. I like everything about it, but quite big, quite thick, also quite heavy. Although they are coming out with new versions now, so I might be considering that. And then the Top Gun Automatic in ceramic, which is a completely different kind of aesthetic. It's more modern, but I didn't make a video about that one, but I'm also considering this one. The 5th brand I'm considering is, surprisingly, Grand Seiko. So I made 1 video about Grand Seiko and it's probably my most controversial video so far, where I receive a lot of not hateful but very angry comments. So I can tell that Grand Seiko really has a lot of fans that will defend it to the death. So I actually like Grand Seiko. A lot of people got that wrong. And in that video I mentioned that I was considering the SPG A407, the Skyflake or the blue snowflake. However, there were a few things that I never really quite liked about that one, like namely the movement or the power reserve on the dial. But then eventually this year they came out with the SBG Y007 with a manual spring drive and no power reserve on the dial, and I really like that one with a 9R31 movement, I think, which is much better finished than the Skyflake. So that was one that I'm considering. And then also I came to learn about the SBG Y231 with the mechanical hand-one movement, the 9S64. So this one I didn't know about it, and I've learned that some people call it the baby Calatrava with this ivory or eggshell dial. And I came to be interested in this watch because there's some guy in the morning when I go to work in the subway, in my car, always at the same time we take the subway together, and he's a very casual guy, young guy, and he's wearing this gold Calatrava with a cream dial, and this seems to be like his beater or his everyday watch. And I thought, you know, this is so like effortlessly cool, and he wears it like it's nothing. And I thought, you know, maybe with the Grand Seiko SBGY 231, actually I could do that if I just put it on a more casual strap, and this could be like a classic kind of everyday watch. And finally, the last brand that I've been considering, you saw that one coming, it's Glashutte Original. So I made a video about that that was quite engaging, with a lot of comments, a lot of people also considering those two models. It was the CQ in 39.5mm and then the CQ Panorama Date, the 43mm model. So I've considered those very thoroughly. And then later this year they also came up with a new model of the Pano Reserve on a nylon strap, which I think made it a lot more wearable in a casual manner, and a lot more, in a way, kind of a casual, dressy, everyday kind of watch. So you know where I'm leaning toward is probably the CQ, the 39.5, and I've talked about what I like and dislike about it. But I think they'll probably come out soon with a new model with a movement with an extended power reserve of 70-hour power reserve. I think so because they just came out with such a watch with a 70s chrono, which used to have, I think, caliber 36 with a 40-hour power reserve, and now they put in caliber 37 with 70-hour power reserve, and I'm pretty convinced they're gonna do that with the CQ pretty soon. So let's see whether this comes out on time. So in conclusion, I considered Sinn, and then Tudor, Nomos, IWC, Grand Seiko, and then Glashutte Original. So that's 6 brands, and I'm going to eliminate 3 right now. So the first one I would eliminate is Sinn. I think in the end they are still not making the perfect watch for me. So, you know, one is too toolish, and the other one I think I'd get tired of it pretty easily. So not yet. I'm not saying no to Sinn, but it's still not the right time, I think, for Sinn for me. The second one I'm going to eliminate right now is Grand Seiko. So that's the other extreme. If Sinn is maybe too toolish, I think Grand Seiko is too dressy. And yes, I thought about putting them on a different strap and wearing them more casually, but at the end of the day, because of the Zaratsu polish, I think it's just too dressy for me and my lifestyle and the way I dress, etc. And the third one I'm going to eliminate right now is Glashutte Original. You guessed it, because I think they're going to come out with a new version of the CQ, and I just have to wait for that one. I would be very upset with myself if I just got the CQ now and then there's a new model coming out in 6 months. So that may be you know, my next year watch. So we are left with 3 brands now, a Swiss Tudor, a German Swiss IWC, and then a German Nomos. So I'll get it down to 6 watches, and I'm gonna start a poll so you guys can vote and see whether you can guess which one I'm gonna go with. So thanks a lot for watching. Remember to ask yourself what makes you tick, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next one.